What's going on, everybody? My name is Myles K. Farrington, and I'm here with my two co-hosts, Adam Leonard
Hello.
and Jordan Leffler,
Hi.
to bring you episode 95 of the MONG podcast. And this will be the weirdest one yet. We have a lot of crazy things going on this week, and I'll let you guess as to what we're talking about. You can hear the turn signal out. Anyway,
Jordan has a shitty job.
yes, Jordan is he's coming from the streets to us today. He's driving home.
I'm doing the podcast via my job with Uber.
Oh.
No, I'm this whole bullshit.
Oh, okay. I actually believed you for a second. But anyway, site-wide events. I believe we're still recruiting, aren't we, Jordan?
We are always recruiting. However, right now, I think we could consider it a site-wide event.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who's actually visited our site, which we hope you all have, might notice that we're down for maintenance at the moment.
Well, quote-unquote maintenance.
Quote-unquote. We're going to call it maintenance because it's a simple way to put it. We will be back, don't worry. All those beautiful people from MONG will be back. You won't just have us three to look at and be like, I miss everyone else, like Lucy and Sean and all those other good people. But yeah.
But you do still have us.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay, using the term like the site's down for maintenance is like a little bit misleading. Like, for instance, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, there was a place called Super Burrito in my downtown in my home city, Bend, that we always went and eat at. And I remember one day we went to go eat there, but it was closed. And they had a big friendly sign that said closed for renovations. But then if you looked closer on the door, it said closed due to health code violation.
Oh. Yeah, we don't have health code violations.
Well, perhaps a similar issue, but we won't get into it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be an announcement as to what happened after the fact, but don't worry about it, folks.
It's pretty obvious if you go to the website.
Is it? I haven't actually tried going.
Yeah, it is.
Oh god, I just realized I can't post this on the website later. Okay, yeah, it is pretty obvious. Hey, there you go. If you want to find out what happened, go check it.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's gonna be solved. We're going through the process. It's not gonna be a big deal.
Yep. All right. And so that's the site-wide news of this week. Yeah, exciting, right? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's gets my heart pounding. On top of that, what's everybody playing? Not right this moment, clearly, because some of us are driving and you can see what we're doing.
I've got this great racing game going right now.
Remember, if you hit people, it's 20 points.
What if I hit a vehicle?
Don't do it. It's not worth. So yeah.
All right, go for it. Adam, I always just automatically defer to you.
I'm just gonna go Adam first every time from now on.
All right, that's fair. Nothing's changed. I'm on what is it now? Week 3 of Metal Gear Solid 5. Making progress. I'm on I think mission 30 now. I think I might be getting close to the point where I might be getting towards the end. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, if you're on mission 30, then you're beyond the corrupts your entire save file point, right?
Yep, I just did that mission today, and my file did not corrupt.
Good. That's always good when all your work doesn't go down the drain.
Well, at this point, it wouldn't have gone down the drain. I think they've actually fixed it. So even if you did wind up getting it corrupted, they had it fixed. They could make it work.
All right.
Well, would you really test fit at this point?
Yes, only because it's been probably for at least 5 days. They've said they've got it fixed.
No. I'm probably not going to use quiet on chapter 29.
And you're going to cry a lot if you do, so have fun.
All right, well, safe from file corruption. Yeah, we'll see another day. Jordan, what are you playing when you're not driving?
When I'm not driving, I'm working, but on the weekends, I've been playing Metal Gear. Not that much, unfortunately, because my wife has picked up Dragon Age Inquisition again.
Oh, okay.
Which has been monotonizing the... monotonizing? That's not the right word.
Monopolizing.
Monopolizing, thank you.
Yeah.
the PlayStation 4. So not a whole lot has been done. I did a few side missions, and I got to the point where, we'll keep it spoiler free, but where you encounter Quiet.
Oh, okay, nice.
And so I was really pleased with that part. Like, I thought that was really cool, the way that they introduce her. But like I said, we won't go too far into it.
Yeah, well, everyone loves Quiet.
Nothing else. Yeah.
Oh. Well, you're keeping your wife happy by not playing Metal Gear Solid, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, enough.
Well, I am, of course, the only thing I have to play right now is Destiny, The Taken King. And I've gotten all my characters to light level 292. That's really high for those of you who don't know. All I can do now is the raid, pretty much. And I'm going to give that like another week or so, so people actually know what's going on, and I don't have to worry about jumping in and spending 11 hours and still not finishing it like one of my friends did.
So people still don't know how to do it?
No, like, people know how to do it, but there's, something different between knowing what you're supposed to do and actually being able to do it.
Sure.
So I'm just gonna give it a little bit more time. So like I said, my friend's raid group went in like when the raid was available, and 11 hours later they just could not get the final boss dead. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. I don't have very much to do with my time, but I don't want that to be what I spend 11 hours straight doing. So
I'm pretty sure I would have left after like 3.
Well, apparently like 3 is like the normal-ish time at this point. So yeah. I don't know. I'll see when I finally get to do it myself. I'm sure within like a couple weeks there'll be someone who's like, I did it backwards using a Guitar Hero controller in 20 minutes.
Right.
But yeah.
Is cheesing still a big thing?
I've not seen a cheese for Crota yet, or not Crota, Oryx.
Interesting.
I'm sure there's some way to cheese something in it, like somewhere that people just haven't found yet. But I'm sure like being able to push Atheon off the side, which I got many of my Atheon kills doing that, has probably made Bungie very wary of like. Honestly, that might be why. If you haven't seen them, a little bit of spoilers. Skip like 2 minutes. I don't know if you're worried about this. Oryx is like freaking massive. He doesn't even stand on any platforms, so I have a suspicion that might be part of that. There's just like, he cannot be pushed off in any way like this. He flies outside of the map. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably the first Destiny raid that I haven't like actually been involved in Destiny for, because there's only 3 of them right now, right?
Yep. This is the third.
Yeah. And so at that point, I feel like I was really ingrained in Destiny when Crota came out. And so, like, I knew a lot of what was going on. And with this one, I know absolutely nothing. So
there's a lot to know about this one.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. But I just remember a ton of stuff about Crota's End, about, like, how, like, well after its release, people were basically cheating through the entire thing.
Yeah, there are ways to, like, solo your way through the first half of it, and then pretty much the only part you couldn't do was Crota himself. But hey, now you can solo all of it, so.
Right.
Alright, but enough about Destiny, because people hate hearing about Destiny at this point.
For the past, I feel like the past, like, 3 episodes, it's been Metal Gear and Destiny.
I mean, yeah, those are the 2 big things right now. Except for Mario Maker, but we don't really have a Nintendo representative right now.
Correct.
But anyway, let's move on to the news from nowhere. No one else want to say it? Nothing?
News from nowhere.
Okay. Right,
nowhere.
Nowhere.
Alright. Now, as part of our crazy episode 95, we're going to have a short news from nowhere today, but still awesome. You'll love it anyway. So,
can the title of this episode be Crazy Episode 95?
Actually, it might be. I was going to do Origins, but Crazy Episode 95 works just as well. So, like, calling back to something we spoke about shortly last week, Persona 5 has been delayed. I don't know who had bets on that, but
Adam did.
Adam, you get 5 internets. I don't know what that's worth.
Okay, I'm not sure if I actually said I thought I was going to be delayed or not, but I'll take the points.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure we were talking about it last week, and you said
We definitely
that.
did talk about it last week. I just can't remember exactly what I concluded. I guess I'll have to go listen to the last episode and find out.
Yep, there you go. There you go. Oh, and speaking of last episode, of course, since the website's down, you'll be able to find this one on YouTube and our sound audio thing. I don't know what to call that, but anyway, just so you know.
It's podcasts, iTunes, all those places.
Podbean,
Yeah.
that's what I was going for. Yeah, iTunes, all those places. Just not our website until the website gets back up. Anyway,
Correct.
Persona 5 has been delayed until summer 2016. Let's all shed a tear and have a moment of silence.
Yeah.
Hey, I said a moment of silence. What?
Oh,
what
sorry.
is this?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So that's the news that came out of a Tokyo Game Show, where a trailer, which has been embedded on a website that we shall not be named, revealed the new date. Atlas provided a following statement, and I quote, "The strengths of Persona series are compelling characters, a moving, relatable story, and a borderline obsession with the minutiae elements which can't be rushed or taken lightly. So while Atlas realizes the frustration and disappointment that must cause the JRPG-loving public, please know that we are delaying the game in order to make sure the next iteration of the Persona series lives up to the expectations of fans." That is something we honestly hear constantly when a game delay happens, and I feel like at this point we have to just kind of take their word for it and be like, "You're probably right. You've been making the game. It's probably for the best." So.
Yeah, I feel like we usually just kind of go with the de facto. All right, I guess I'll be patient for a little while, make the game good.
Yeah.
Well, something to consider though, because I think we have to be cautious as fans. Because I know that I am really excited for the new Persona. I'm sure Jordan is extremely excited for the new Persona. I mean, I was sad that it was delayed, but at the same time, it is a busy, pretty busy end of the year with Fallout 4 and like Rise of Tomb Raider. So it probably would have been even more compressed if I had like a 60+ hour JRPG to worry about. The thing that I think we should be cautious as US fans is that they did announce at the TGS that it's being delayed to summer 2015, and for all we know, that time window only designates for the Japanese release.
True.
I don't know if anything's officially been said of whether they're like kind of naturalizing it, like a lot, parallel to development, or if it's going to come out in Japan and then we're due for another, I don't know how long it takes to naturalize a game over here, but potentially, 6 months, a year plus for them to do whatever it needs to do to make it a game releasable in the US.
Well,
I understand what you're saying, because I know that that's been the case with like previous Personas, hasn't it? It's been a while before they were released westward, right?
True. Very true, yeah.
I feel like after 4, it really popularized the series. I mean, obviously more so than with like the previous installments, but like now everybody who plays on their PlayStation handheld devices basically knows Persona 4 Golden, and they all say it's basically the best game to play on your Vita, which I would tentatively agree with. It is definitely one of the best games to play on it, and also one of the best RPGs. I think that became a very extremely popular thing to say, but also just a very popular title. And so I think they realized it would be in their best interest to release it in the West close to the Japanese release date.
And I would hope that that's the case, but the fact that they haven't said anything gives me pause. I mean, have we actually...
I agree.
Have we heard anything about anybody doing any voice recording and stuff for Persona 5? Because that would probably be going on right now.
Yeah, I don't recall any of that.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm with you. I hope that it comes out at the same time, or at least very close to the Japanese release. I'm just trying to brace myself that there's a possibility it could be even farther off than we know.
That's fair.
Yeah. The only thing we can do is hope and wait and hope that the woman who did Chie, even though she's not in this game, is just like, I like steak and I recorded things. So that's all we can hope for.
Hope is a dream that your... Oh, no. Okay. Hope is a wish that your heart makes.
That was beautiful, Adam. Did you come up with that yourself?
I actually learned that... I think I actually heard that quote when I was in general training for when I worked at Disney World.
Oh.
So there you go.
Well,
Where
there
the
you
magic
go.
happens.
Yeah. Disney World. All right, Adam. You wanna take the next one or pick one you want to take? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I've got the next one up. Apparently, GameStop won't sell console bundles that include digital games. During a recent company earnings call, GameStop executives detailed a new plan to only sell console bundles that include physical games rather than digital codes. Apparently, this practice has already began last month with the release of Madden 16. Instead of carrying Xbox One digital Madden bundles, the retailer worked with its partners to offer free physical games with the purchase of a console.
I guess we all saw this coming from a ways away. GameStop has been complaining about digital stuff for a while. Um, I feel like this is a bad move, of course, though. But
Well, I mean, what do you mean a bad move? Like for
like,
GameStop?
well, for GameStop, I'm sure they think it's an amazing move because they're like, oh, we're selling them this with a copy of this that's physical, so we'll get it back eventually and we'll make some money. But also, I don't know. It's just it seems like a lot of bundles nowadays are going for digital, and I feel like it's a bad move for them to alienate, I guess the people that want to buy those bundles from their store, because I feel like, okay, we're losing $60 off, well, not even 60, but like we're losing like $30 off of this game that might have been physical with the bundle, but at the same time we're selling a console that's worth about $400 that happens to have a digital copy in it. So it seems like a bad move to me.
I don't know. I could kind of go both ways on this one. I mean, I'm still very much a physical game purchaser.
Mm,
I like having the option to sell a game if I want to.
yeah.
I also like how much cheaper it is to buy physical copies of games. I mean, there's far more deals out there in the retail space than in the digital space.
True.
At least for consoles.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like, I get why GameStop did it. They're just basically prolonging the inevitable. I mean, eventually we're going to go all digital. It's going to happen. But I can appreciate that they're trying to preserve their market.
Yeah. No, like I completely understand that. Like that makes total sense from GameStop's standpoint. I just don't agree with it. But then again, I'm not making money from GameStop anymore, so I guess my opinion doesn't matter to them. Any thoughts on this, Adam?
I definitely agree with Jordan. I prefer to buy physical because I'm like a high volume gamer. I play a lot of games, and the most economical way to do that is to turn and burn games, to play them, finish them, trade them into the next game.
Yep.
Lately, I've been a little more of a convert to digital. There's been a couple of times recently, like The Witcher's a pretty good example, where they've started to wise up a little bit and said, all right, well, if you go digital, we'll give you access to the game before other people.
Yeah.
And in some cases, that's been enough to get me to go like, okay, well, I will go digital for that purpose. I don't think it really matters in the end. I really do think that, unfortunately, GameStop has a has a fairly limited lifespan, in my opinion, at least in the form that we know it, not only because of the oncoming of digital sale, but also just like general competition from either more generic big box stores that can specialize in a lot of things along with video games, or like the online marketplaces like Amazon.com. I just don't know how much room for growth and how much of a future a specified game store, like a specified game store has.
No, this is very true. I know Best Buy and places like that have started doing pre-ordering and trade-ins, so it's like they have targets on their backs at this point. GameStop does. So I don't know. Go ahead.
I have to believe that they see it coming. I mean, like, it's so obvious what's happening. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to prevent gaming from going digital. Like, that's obviously not what this move is about. But I want to believe that they're going to try and stay around. Like what Adam just said. Like, GameStop's not going to be around, at least not in the form that we see it as now. And I think it'll be really interesting to watch GameStop going into the future, because I think it's going to evolve into something else. I just don't know what that thing is, and I certainly hope they at least have an idea.
Yeah.
Well, I think what that is, I think we might already see the seedlings of it. I don't know if I don't think we really ever talked about it nor covered it on our site, but GameStop recently purchased ThinkGeek.
Yeah.
And I read recently that now they have plans on opening basically like ThinkGeek based stores throughout America.
That'd be kind of
So
cool.
essentially, it'd be like a physical retail space where you can buy, it'd be like it's probably going to be like a more tasteful version of Spencer's is kind of what I would equate it to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like more geek products, less, shirts featuring stick figures doing crude things to one another. But anyways, so I wonder if maybe all that's a step towards them trying to figure out what's beyond.
Sure.
Now, I'll give them one free idea, because I used to work for them. It wasn't fun, but they should try and work with the big game businesses. Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, Microsoft. I feel like they should try and be the first ones to do, like, I know Steam has a version of like digital trading the titles that you own, I think, or that was something they were mentioning. They should try and be the first to like have that actually happen, because then they wouldn't be threatened by digital copies anymore, not just for the sake of selling these consoles, but then they would actually be like, oh well, we could even, like, if someone buys something on the PlayStation Network they don't really want anymore, they can possibly trade it in for some PlayStation credit or something like that. Now I'm sure this is extremely complicated, but it's just an idea that they should look into. I don't know, it would keep them relevant for a lot longer, that's for sure.
They'll start buying loaded consoles. That's a total bogus idea. But
yeah, that sounds like a bad idea.
my PS4 has PT on it. How much will you give me this? Give me for this.
Those were worth a lot when that first got announced that was happening.
Yeah, I know.
Same with phones that have Flappy Bird on them.
Right.
But speaking of consoles, this is a horrible segue. Hyrule Warriors, the port, will only support 3D on the new 3DS. So if you have an old 3DS, oh well, I guess. That rhymed.
It's happening.
The rhyming. Hayashi Yosuke, or Yosuke Hayashi, said that
Go get him, Yosuke.
I'm messing that up. Hayashi said that the game's stereoscopic 3D had to be limited on the older 3DS hardware. This was done in order to accommodate the level of action and number of enemies on screen. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Older platform can't properly support what the new games, the new young guns are bringing to the field. So,
how updated is the new 3DS? I mean, like, is it really that justifiable?
I have not looked at the specs for that thing. Well, they go on to say, with the introduction of the new 3DS, which has more processing power than its predecessor, as well as an additional control stick and built-in near-field communication, has come other titles that feature features unique to the system, such as most notable is the portable version of Xenoblade Chronicles, and Nintendo remade the Wii game for the 3DS, but is only playable on newer versions of the system. So I guess this isn't the first time we're hearing about this, but
right.
I don't know. I would hate to be like, I didn't like the 3D, I'll just go ahead and say that, but I would hate to like have my 3DS and be like, yeah, let's play the new Hyrule Warriors. It can't do the namesake thing. It can't do 3D. Why do I have a 3DS? Throw it to the floor, step on it, etc., etc.
I remember when new 3DS was coming out, the Xenoblade, whatever the hell it is, Chronicles, was kind of making a splash with it being exclusive to the new 3DS. So, I mean, I think it's a very similar situation, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, if it really has that big of an upgrade in its processing power, I suppose it's justifiable, but at the same time, it also feels like a reason just to sell their new 3DS.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know. I hope that, like, the new person that... Stop searching, Cortana. Don't do that. Sorry, my computer like just randomly chooses when I'm talking to just be like, "Oh, you want to search Bing for that?" It's like, no, I would never search Bing. Anyway, I would hope that the new CEO of Nintendo isn't like, "Haha, I am the money gouger. Time to get all of the monies from my Nintendo fans."
Yeah, I don't think. I think this project has probably been in development longer than that. So I'm
Probably.
not. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. But I don't know. Maybe this is something that the Nintendo Power Hour should be covering more than we should. They
Probably.
probably know a little bit more than we do.
Yeah.
But just economically, financially speaking, like it makes sense from a business perspective. It also makes sense if it's technically legitimate.
Yep. Adam, what do you think about breaking 3DSs and new 3DSs?
I have a 3DS. I have a new 3DS, and I'm not even sure if I've ever even turned on the 3D. So it's like such a gimmick that I don't care about. I mean, it was cool the first time you saw it in practice. You're like, oh, that's kind of neat. But do I need my games to be in 3D? No.
Very true.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know enough about the hardware ins and outs to know if this is for real or if they're just trying to make more money off the 3DS. So, Lucy, Aaron, if you're listening to it, go get them. Tell us all about it.
Do it.
Yeah, take him down, guys. You got this. But moving on.
Yes. A writer has returned to BioWare. Drew Karpyshyn?
Karpyshyn? I don't know.
Karpyshyn? Okay. Has returned to BioWare Austin. Via his blog, Karpyshyn has explained that he originally left BioWare to focus on his series of novels titled Chaos Born. That sounds like the most generic novel thing ever. And now the trilogy is completed. He's come back to work on Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yay.
Hey, this is a big thing. As they mentioned later in the article, Karpyshyn's previous writing work includes BioWare, includes BioWare. At BioWare includes Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2, and I'll explain why that's amazing later. And Knights of the Old Republic, and so I don't know if you two are fans of Mass Effect. I believe we've had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He wrote the two that didn't have the awful Devil Star Child in them.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote the two that kept people's attention and didn't like kill off a lot of the fan base. So.
I thought the third one was great, except for maybe the ending.
Well, that is also what I think, but I honestly have a friend who it annoys me so much. He thinks the whole series has gone to trash, including the first two, just because of the ending of the third one. I'm like, oh come on, man! But this is his opinion, and I'm just like, I understand that a lot of people probably share that opinion, and it's like, hey, now they can't say anything. Drew's back.
How can they feel like that though? Like the third one provides so many great closing character moments for these characters that you grew to love over hundreds of hours, and they just get all pissy because they kind of like biffed the landing a little bit with kind of an overcomplicated ending.
I agree.
Okay.
Like I'm fine. I did not like the ending, but I am not going to say that I enjoyed everything about 3 except for the ending. So I don't understand their logic, but like if anyone complains, it's like Drew's back. I know he's not writing this one or Mass Effect Andromeda, but hopefully, maybe he'll come back on Mass Effect Alpha Loopy or whatever the next one's gonna be. Who knows?
Alpha Loopy.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, okay. Here's my question though, like for what I get from the article, and maybe I haven't read it into it a whole lot, but so it specifies that he's coming back to BioWare to work on Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
No. Just the Old Republic.
Yeah, there's a difference.
I hate to be the stickler, but it is a big difference.
Okay, so fill me in. The difference is
the Old Republic is the MMORPG.
Okay.
Knights of the Old Republic is the RPG that everybody wants to come back.
Yeah.
Okay. That answers my question. But at first, I was wondering nebulously if that meant he was working on the MMORPG, or if that was like a ever so subtle announcement that we're gonna finally get another entry into that beloved franchise.
No, unfortunately,
I don't think so.
Did either of you guys play play the MMORPG?
Yep.
I did quite a bit, yeah.
Yep, me too. But that was actually, I really enjoyed it. I thought the story was, one of the better MMORPG stories I ever experienced.
Yeah, I really thought that it was a nice, refreshing approach to an RPG. But I got to the end. I even got the Hut Cartel expansion, like to
I
like
didn't
level
know that was a
55.
thing.
Yeah, it was like to level 55 or something like that. And I played through all of that, and after that, I just kind of lost interest with it. Didn't really feel the need to continue, and I really haven't picked it up since.
I played level 20, and I was hoping it would be the MMO that made me like MMOs, and it wasn't. So I spent $60, played for 2 nights, and it was like, thank God I have a job and a steady income because I don't feel bad about that now.
And now it's free.
Yeah, now it's free. There you go.
I felt a little cheated at that point, but I guess at the same time, like that's what you get for being an early adopter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially with MMO, but
Yeah.
what can you do? So, last story of the night. Speaking of the return, you know something that's not returning when it was supposed to? Hitman! Awful segues.
That was
Yay.
terrible. That was really terrible.
Oh, God.
It made sense at least. So, yes, Hitman has been delayed to March 2016. And supposedly it will contain more launch content, which would be interesting. That would be I don't know if that's a first or not. Anyway, IO Interactive announced the delay. The developer said to delay the game due to its size and scope, and I quote, Hitman is the biggest venture we've ever undertaken at IO Interactive, not just in terms of scope and ambition, but also in terms of the size of the game world itself. The playable area and density of our locations goes beyond anything we've built before. We're striving to create a series of living, breathing worlds in those locations, and we get pretty obsessed about every detail that you'll experience. Moving at launch day is never an easy decision. We know it's frustrating to have to wait a little bit longer for the game, but we truly believe it'll mean we can deliver a much better launch experience, and we'll share more details next week about the full release schedule and the scope of Hitman in general, so keep a lookout for that. So yeah, another delay. No one's surprised.
If you guys really played Hitman,
Nope.
Nope.
yeah, I never really gave Hitman a chance. I think I played it for all of 15 minutes when a friend and I, like in middle school, had like rented it for I think it was probably the PlayStation 2. And yeah, by the end of it, we were just kind of like, I don't get it, and just kind of like put it down.
Yeah, I think I tried the demo, and it was back when I didn't like stealth, which I don't like stealth now, so that's the thing. And I tried a run and gun, and the game was just like, no, we're not going to let you do that. And I was like, oh, well, then I don't want to play.
Yeah. I mean, part of me like feels like I kind of want to get into it, but at the same time, I'm not really sure if it matches the kind of gamer that I am now. Like, yeah. I don't know how much depth there is to the story. I mean, certainly the movie that just came out isn't inspiring a whole lot of hope in me.
Wait, there's been a new Hitman movie? Or...
Yep.
Oh, I thought the old one was the only one.
No, it's called Agent 47.
Oh.
It's got Quinn from Homeland, if that means anything to you guys or anyone out there.
Is he the guy who might be the traitor?
Is he the guy who... What are you talking about in Hitman, or are you talking about in Homeland?
Homeland. I've seen like season 1 of Homeland.
No, then you don't know this character.
Okay. All right. I'm interested to give it a shot, especially because I traditionally have not been much of a stealth gamer, but I think having played Metal Gear, through the Metal Gear Solid series, because I love the story so much that I forced myself just to deal with the fact that there wasn't a type of game I normally play.
Right.
Gotten to the point where in Metal Gear Solid 5 I've actually found stealth really satisfying, that maybe now's the time to try it, because maybe I've got a tolerance for it now.
Yeah, that's good logic. I mean, stealth is stealth, even though...
The one difference, I think, is that in Metal Gear Solid 5, they do a good job of making it feel rewarding regardless of if you do it stealth, like if you do a mission via stealth or run and gun it. And so I'm not sure if other stealth games are equally forgiving.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I know in Hitman, I think, like, at least the one I played, It was a lot about like if you don't stealth, there's just a lot of people, and you don't have Spartan armor, you don't have Mass Effect fields, you gonna die if you get shot too many times. So yeah, but who knows? I mean, if they honestly like bring this out and it's like jam packed with a lot more content, which I don't know if we can actually tell because we haven't had the game yet. So they could just be like, just add another face in there, and that's good. Um, yeah, but I mean, as we said earlier, delays are good things. That's about all there is to them. So
I'm not really that shocked because it did kind of come out of nowhere at
Nowhere.
Yes, Mong. Anyways, it kind of came out of nowhere at the Square Enix conference, anyways, because it was like we hadn't really heard anything about it, and all of a sudden, like, hey, guess what? We got this new Hitman game. It's gonna come out in December, and it's like that's like 6 months from now.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, I know that another popular topic, Fallout 4, basically did the same thing, but there's a lot more evidence supporting the fact that Fallout 4 has been in development for a while.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if I can. I just don't know if I'm shocked. And it's also entirely possible they might have moved it out to hopefully give some more room for their other December title, Just Cause 3, to breathe a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why these things get delayed. I think that's probably something that's important to remember. I don't know if I'd go out and say that delays are always a good thing, but I would say that hopefully it at least gives hope that the game will be polished.
True. Very true.
It's better than a rushed game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's better than Godzilla, the most recent one that came out. No one.
Is that based on the movie, or was that something else?
Oh no, it was not based on the movie. It was supposed to be like I guess a love letter to just Godzilla, and it was awful. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was bad. Anyway, yeah, I can't even come up with a bad segue for what I was about to do. Anyway, guys, that's our news from nowhere today. But we're not done here. Podcast isn't over. I'm gonna take a sip of water.
I'll take it over.
That was the slowest sip of water.
We're actually going to be starting a new segment this evening in line with our Weird Week. We're also going to have a weird new podcast segment. We're calling it drumroll.
Do we have a name?
Well, I thought it was a name. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm calling it. It's tentatively until decided otherwise. A thought out of nowhere.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is just going to basically be a topic for the rest of the podcast. Something that one of us have come up with, or perhaps if one of you would like to submit a topic, we will also pull from anyone who sends something in that sends a good idea. Nothing, like poopies or anything like that.
Jesus.
You will be able to send that into contact.mong, and it's MONG, @gmail.com, or you can go to the website not right now, or whenever this is going to be posted, hopefully sometime this weekend, to submit something, which will also be forwarded to our email address. So tonight, our topic is, what really got you into gaming? When did you become a gamer, and why did you continue to game? Would anybody like to start, or should I?
You can go ahead and start.
You got it, Jordan.
All right. So for me, what really sparked it for me was the Super Nintendo, and I think I've talked about this before, but I used to be a 4-year-old. And at that time, I got a Super Nintendo, and my parents put it in my bedroom, which was probably a terrible choice. And I played that thing all the time. And I played it with my brother and my dad, who I think they basically got it for themselves. But every time they would play, I would want to play. And so we eventually got used to playing co-op games. Or competitive games, but basically, playing on the couch together. There was 2 controllers. I'm pretty sure it came with 2 controllers, back in the day when consoles used to come with 2 controllers. And I really got into thinking that gaming was like a very social experience. To this day, I'm a very social gamer. If I'm not playing with someone, like even just in the room, like I want to talk about the games that I'm playing with people who have no idea what I'm talking about. Metal Gear Solid is a very interesting experience when that happens. So from that point, when I kind of grew up and like was playing a lot of games, I was playing basically everything and anything. Still didn't really know exactly what I like to play. I eventually picked up Metal Gear Solid because my cousin, who babysat me like over the summer, was playing it, and I was just enthralled with the storyline and the gameplay, and it was like, for me at that age, balls to the wall hard. Like I had no idea what to do or where to go, but it just blew me away, like how deep it was. And I eventually like passed that along to my friends, and we would have like these really in-depth discussions about the Metal Gear series. And that's part of the reason why I think I like writing about video games and talking about video games, because of Metal Gear, and like it really showed me that games could be significant and something that's worth talking about. So yeah, that's kind of my story.
Well, that I'm sure that's something we can all understand, not sympathize with. That's the wrong word, but relate to. There we go. And we can relate so much. In fact, good segue. Yeah, my story is very similar. It even involves the Super Nintendo. Oh,
Yay,
yeah.
SNES.
Yeah. So as people know or don't know, I don't know how much you care about me. You should care about me a lot, though. I'm a lovable guy. I started gaming with Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo. Another example of parents kind of goofing up just a little bit there. Um, my I used to live with well, I didn't live with him, but my dad and he used to live with his mom, and it was just like a big family house thing going on. And he lived with like a bunch of my cousins and stuff. So like I don't even know why the Super Nintendo was first bought, but I think he bought it and bought Mortal Kombat because he's like, fighting game, there we go. And because he used to really like fighting games for some reason. But I remember just like, he was like, "Here, I want to show you this," and I like started playing. I was like, "Wow, this is awesome! I I can't get past the first level, and everyone else beats me, but this is really cool." Uh, like, little kid couldn't grasp the combos and all that. But that was like the first game I played. And then I remember I think I told my cousin about it, one of my other cousins on my mom's side of the family, and they got a Super Nintendo with like Super Mario. So like when I went over to their house, it was just like playing Super Mario, just passing the controller back and forth
Yeah.
like you used to do. We finally got to World 8 and then never got further than that because we were young and didn't know how to play. And yeah, so I'm very similar in the way that I'm also a very social gamer. A lot of the games I will buy are actually with like being social in mind. Like it was part of why I really like Destiny and or really like the idea of Destiny. It's why I'm really hyped up for the Division and other games. Just like I enjoy playing games with people. Again, I enjoy talking about games. Otherwise, why would I be here, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then I continued to game because well, I think it was that beyond. I used to play outside some when I was a kid. Used to be kind of into sports, and then my mom, who stayed with most of the time, she moved to a apartment complex that was like it was like a one that was kind of for college age students because it was right down the street from like the big college campus, and she didn't want me going outside anymore. So I didn't play outside anymore. I got this gut I have now, and I played a lot of Super Smash Bros. And yeah, she got me the N64. But yeah, that was essentially why I continued the game, and then just kind of became part of my life as time went on. Got Pokemon, was like, oh my God, Game Boy, I can play wherever I want to go now. And then tried getting to PC gaming, still kind of not really there, but it's getting there. But yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience with my SNES when I was a kid. I would play like I don't know if you guys know what this game is. Most people don't. It's called Armored. No, not Armored Core. It was Metal Warriors. Kind of like Armored Core, where like you would fight with mechs, but it was a side scroller. And there's a competitive mode, and I would always play against like my dad, and he would just beat the shit out of me in the game.
Wow, dark.
Yeah. And like I was 4 years old, so I would lose, and I would just start bawling. And like he was just kind of like trying to calm me down and be like, "It's okay, Jordan. Like it's just a game. Like whatever." And like we would start playing again, and he would kind of like go easy on me. But I like always would lose, and then I would always cry. It's like one vivid memory that I have about that, just like being terrible with video games and losing and just being really upset. Which makes it kind of interesting that I still play video games.
It's like you think it was traumatic.
Right.
Yeah. Adam, what is your origin story?
Okay, so the very beginnings aren't really all that interesting because I mean I think a lot of it's just as simple as like, you know, I was really young, and when you're really young, Super Mario Brothers looks freaking awesome. So I think it's probably fair to focus on kind of what turned me into the type of gamer I am today that I ultimately become, I think.
Yeah.
I am kind of opposite to you guys. I am not a social gamer. I can do it occasionally, but even when I'm playing playing with people online or even in person, I tend to get anxious and wonder how much longer I have to do it.
Sure.
I don't necessarily mind people watching me, and I can certainly watch, you know, my roommate or my friends play a game, and that's entertaining. But I think it's because I work in a line of work where you constantly have to deal with people all day long, and so when I'm done with that job, what I want to do is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I was a voracious reader. I'd like to think of myself as the same thing, like, you know, but with video games, I think I want a really good story. I definitely see video games emerging as a media that is as powerful and as evocative as literature, as movies, as television. And I think probably, and I've once again talked about this game before, because I think, you know, we obviously wear our loves on our sleeves, so we inevitably will, you know, come back to the stuff that we really love, is what I think probably started that core of like this kind of love of story was once again when I was in high school and I got Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That, you know, like, you know, I'd played games before. I don't think I ever played a game as deeply as I played that one before. And the gameplay was awesome, but equal to that, the story was really what hooked me and wanted me to push further into the game. I definitely think that Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game ever made. I know that, you know, I've talked about this before. I know that there's some people who want to try to call it overrated and go, well, actually, this, that, or the other one's better. But I think it is the best Zelda game ever made, and I think it's partially because of the story, because I think the story itself is actually something that's not paid attention to a lot, and I think it's kind of beautiful and kind of deep and kind of sad. Because, you know, basically in in Ocarina of Time, you start as this kid with no family, and as you progress as you progress through the story, you gain this kind of amazing support circle. I mean, you gain, out of the first dungeon, you gain your childhood best friend. Out of the second dungeon, you gain a family as the, like, king of the Gorons calls, you know, basically makes you his brother. And out of the third mission, you meet, like, the Zora princess, who is basically kind of representative of your first romance. And because, you know, she basically wants to marry you in the future. And then after going through all this, then you're basically forced to abandon your childhood and literally grow up in an instant in order to save the world, essentially. And by doing so, then all of a sudden, in the second half of the game, you have to pretty much lose everything you gained, because you basically lose all of that, because they have to sacrifice themselves to become the sages of time. And so basically, you lose everything. And I think, you know, and I think the game is kind of a game about growing up and how growing up is hard, because you're put through stuff and you lose stuff. And I think that's kind of beautiful. And that's why I think Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game ever made. One of the best games ever made, period. Is because I think that story is unparalleled by any other Zelda game.
I'm tearing up. Like, oh, legitness. I never realized that because I never really played Zelda, but that is very deep and very sad.
Yeah, Adam, you're making me cry.
Yeah, like I said, and it never gets called attention to. Like people talk about this, that, or and the other about why Ocarina of Time is great, and they just say it almost just basically because it's like a known fact. Because everybody goes, "Oh yeah, that's one of the best games ever made." But not on that, no, people don't really talk about why it's great. And I think that story and the kind of what the hidden depth that people seem to ignore just because they just accept that the game's great is why that game is so great.
That's deep. That's really deep. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Adam.
I'm seriously upset right now. I'm sorry.
Like, I'm not sure if I will ever go back and play it because I have that stigma where it's like these graphics are too old. I can't do. But yeah, if someone someone should make a modern playthrough of that game and make sure.
Well, they did. The 3DS. It's got updated graphics.
I tried.
Okay.
3DS is too small for my man hands. These big, strong hands.
But I was really excited when you brought this topic up, Jordan, because this is something I felt really strongly about for a while. There's probably going to be eventually an article once I actually finish Majora's Mask, because that's the one that people often try to go like, oh, well, Majora's Mask is really the best game. It's better than Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and I want to finish playing it, so I've got the context. But I think this will be an article at some point because I think people are just saying that to be rebellious, and I think it's worth some real analyzation on why the game is as good as it is.
Yeah. I would definitely like to see that as an article, especially since I don't have to write it. But
I really am happy you said that, Adam. I've never put that much thought into Ocarina of Time before. No. I mean, I've thought about the game, and it's one of my favorite games as well. But I never really thought about it like that, and I've recently gone through some things personally, and that actually has a lot of significance to me. I appreciate that. So.
Well, I'm glad I could share with you guys.
Yeah. That was a very good piece of information that now hopefully the 50 people that watch us a week know.
Yeah, hopefully.
More than 50 people. We're going to be advertising this as the crazy... What are we calling it? The Crazy Mong Podcast, episode 95, Origins.
That's too much. That sounds like an awful manga name. Then just Origins tacked on at the end.
I think it needs to happen.
It probably will. Crazy episode 95, Origins. But yeah. So now everyone knows where we've come from as gamers.
So
go ahead.
So hopefully we'll do these possibly weekly. Unless there's some huge list of amazing news that has recently come out. But definitely submit any topics that you'd like us to discuss.
Definitely.
To us. Otherwise, we're gonna keep going with them.
Also, Mong teammates who are watching, that applies to you. Ask us.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well. It just turned over to an hour, but I think we have 5 minutes of we started 5 minutes early, so there's that. But hey, whatever. This has been a good night.
Yeah, we'll call it done.
Yeah, we'll call it done at 5 minutes early because it's so early to eat off. Anyway, it has been a lovely time having you all with me. If anyone that is viewing knows why my camera freezes or gets all stuttery and then turns completely fine by the end, please tell me. Anyway.
Why am I frozen though? I don't understand why I'm frozen.
Well, I don't know why you're frozen, but those two dudes with you, I mean, you all look happy. I mean, there you go. At least you're happy.
Well, that's good.
So, our schedule is to record on Tuesday night and then release early Wednesday morning because I don't sleep a lot. You can email us at contact.mong@gmail.com. Please send us your thought from nowhere question, or a thought of. Is it a thought of or a thought from?
A thought out of nowhere.
Out of. Okay.
And we're also going to say that they don't necessarily have to be questions, just something that you've thought about that might be provocative to discuss.
Yeah. Like if you have some zany game facts and stuff.
Like a shower thought that's about games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how you have to in the old games you get a rocket launcher and you have to find a key to unlock a wooden door. Think about that. Um, so you can email us at contact.mong@gmail.com. You can find our Mong Twitter account at mong.com. Dot is spelled out. Com is always spelled out. You can also find us on YouTube at Mong Network and Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays. Mong Network is where the podcasts and stuff go up. Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays is where our Let's Plays go up. Have we done a Let's Play in a while?
I don't think recently. I did the Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. I don't know if there's been something before. Oh, I think Lucy was doing Shovel Knight this past weekend.
Yeah. If you want to see us actually play games, you probably want to go to our Twitch account because we don't really put them up on Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays, as far as I know. Or do we?
Are you talking about the YouTube account?
Yeah.
Not so much recently. Anything that I've been putting on, I've been just putting on the Middle of Nowhere Gaming.
Okay.
YouTube.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put in a D.2 on this list. Twitch channel is Mong Plays right here where you're at. I guess I'm announcing that. Just follow us. I guess follow the channel if you want to see when we're playing something or doing the podcast. There you go. So yeah, you can find us on Twitch at Mong Plays. Of course, I'm gonna make that an announcement for every week now. Deal with it. You can also find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. Just look up Mong. We're the non-rude version. There we go. And check out our website, middleofnowheregaming.com, for all our editorials, news, and reviews. When it's back up,
Soon.
That'll be soon. Don't worry about
We're not
that.
saying hopefully. It's going to be soon.
It's going to be soon. There we go. Hard, solid facts.
Yep.
And you can find me on Twitter at Furious Milk. Follow me. I need more followers, even though I just got a bunch for some reason. I don't know what I did. Anyway,
you're amazing.
I mean, I know I am, but it's weird that it didn't kick in those returns until now. But anyway, you can find Adam on at words
fanboy_Adam.
There we go. You can find Jordan at
JL_Fleur.
Yep. And if you need to know how to spell any of that, because my name's weird, Adams is actually, if you don't know how to spell that, you got to work on something. And Jordan's, which is, I guess, kind of weird.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
But anyway, you can find all our names right under our faces if you're watching the video podcast. If you're just listening to us, I guess you're going to have to do some phonetic stuff and try and figure out what our names are and how to spell them. Shouldn't be too hard.
I hope people care enough to research it. Like I really want to follow these guys. Let's go check out the YouTube channel real quick.
I don't know. I know sometimes I'm just like, well, if I didn't get on the first try, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, this has been episode 95 of the Mong Podcast. We thank you all who came to watch us on Twitter, came to watch us on Twitch, or came to watch the video on YouTube, or listen to us somewhere. We thank you all. You're part of. You make our lives worth living, etc., etc.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Yay.
anyway, Mong. You folks have a lovely night.
Night.